Well, obviously coming out of last weekend, we weren't thrilled with with how that went. But the good news is for us is that most of our goals lie ahead of us still, and we're in the NCAA postseason. We did not take ourselves out of what would have been. We were going to be a 2 seed at a regional anyway, and so had a great day yesterday, trying to hit the reset button, and analyze what happened. And be able to move forward is the important thing to do. And I think they've got the right mindset to try and right the ship and move forward again. Look, our season's been a pretty good one under many challenging circumstances, and we feel strongly that this team's capable of doing. The sky's the limit in terms of what this team can do, regardless of the evidence that we showed last weekend.
So kind of what happened after analyzing what happened this past week?
We like them to be loose, and we like them to be, excited, and we want a lot of confidence and good energy coming into the meet. I think it was a little overcooked. I think we were just a little too hyped, and when their first routine goes down, it sort of jarred them, and most of the rest of it, I thought, they bounced back quickly, but then once they began to realize where we were in the competition, they started to press, and it's true in every sport. When you begin to press and you're trying to do something supernatural or superhuman, you end up doing the exact opposite, and so it went against. Once you get into that pattern, it goes against everything we talked to them about, and competing fearless and free of mind, and being able to attack what they were doing. They weren't attacking, they were pressing and trying to make up for a monumental poor start that we had on what has been our most consistent event all year. So it was disappointing, but I think it was a learning experience for them to go through that. We had not seen anything like that all year long, a performance like that all year long, and it's unfortunate, and we were all devastated, coming out of it, because we fully expected to go in there and put our best foot forward, and all indicators leading into the competition were that was what was going to happen, and it was just it's something that snowballed on us, and I've got to make sure that we don't find ourselves in that same situation again.
Obviously, it's pretty easy to look at the S-curve and figure out where you're going to go and you're going to be with.
Yeah.
So going to Raleigh, you probably thought Raleigh or...
Yeah, Seattle would have been the other one. Had things gone differently at SEC's, we potentially could have been in Seattle. I like going to Raleigh. I wasn't worried about either location, to be honest with you. You got to go through who you got to go through, regardless. So I think from an ease of travel perspective, it's Raleigh's a little easier trip on us, and so hopefully it's a good venue. We've in the past, not this team or anybody on this team, I don't think has ever competed there, but in the past we've been there for a regional. We've been there for regular season dual meets. It's a good venue.
Your thoughts on the field? I mean, obviously Michigan, they have a great team coming off the national title. Missouri, as y'all had a couple of times.
Yeah. I think it's the toughest. It's probably the toughest regional that there is. But I'm still confident in this team's ability to navigate that and to advance, and that's our plan, is to get out there and take care of business and advance all the way to the semifinals in Fort Worth.
Any thoughts on them sending UCLA there? You think the committee thought that was?
No, it's just exactly the way the snake, the whole lineup of the way the tournament is decided on for our sport. It just lined up that UCLA's out there, and that's a great team to be seated where they are, and I think there are 4, and that's a great team. We know. Well, there's lots of great teams. We know Missouri's great. We know Michigan's great. It's a tough regional, but again, I'm confident in this team's ability to get through it.
Go ahead, Scott.
Haley Bryant, did she hurt her elbow on the vault the other night?
Yeah, we had a little.
How would she be for the regional?
Had a little scare with Haley on the vault. thought maybe there was something going on with her elbow. Had the MRI done yesterday. Nothing too serious. She'll be out. She was out of practice yesterday and be out today. We expect that she'll be back Thursday. But don't think, again, I think maybe we dodged a bullet on that one.
It's easy to kind of forget some of the good performances, but in being particular last weekend, Desiderio again, Dean, Bryant, and again, Kai. I mean, this one right after.
Well, I thought Beam was exceptional. I mean, we went over there after the sort of bartastrophe, as I called it, that started us on bars, and they settled in on Beam, and that's a hard thing to do, and that they did a great job of kind of settling down. We went 49.55, I think, on balance beam under those circumstances, and I was just pleased with the way that the team really rallied at that point. They really were doing everything they could to kind of chip away at what had been a poor start for them, and I thought they did a great job on balance beam.
And then North Carolina's in the regional with Sammy's.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be pretty neat.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. I know. Dana Durante has been part of her daughter's gymnastics since she got started, and so gymnastics runs in that family, and it's a nice coincidence that we're going to be at the same site. So, they'll get to see each other, and both be participating in this regional. They're very close, and it'll be nice for them to be together for this.
You said this is probably the toughest regional out there. Why is that?
Well, I think because UCLA is the wild card. They didn't get off to a great start this year, but probably next to Florida's roster, they have one of the most star-studded list of names on their roster that there is out there, and they're fully capable of. I mean, I think they've gone 198 this year, and they're fully capable of putting that together. So I think that's probably it. I think it's the 4 spot in the regional that is a super talented team that could potentially compete for a national title, just like the 3 teams that are above them in the region could.
Anything else, guys? How much time do you have before you compete? Is it 2 weeks or is it?
No, we don't have this. We don't compete this weekend, but we'll leave Tuesday evening and get out there. We won't compete until Thursday. The round of 32 is Thursday, and then assuming we advance, we'd be in the round of 16 on Saturday. Yeah, and the format has changed. We've been doing the 2-day format now for 2 years at regionals, and now, or is it 3? I don't know. But what we've done is we've put an off day in between the 2 days, both at the regional level and nationals. That's a great thing for all the teams participating, because when we first went to the 2-day format for regionals and got this thing where it needed to be in terms of an actual tournament bracket, TV really was not as engaged as they are now. And they did not particularly want an off day to deadhead crews and those kinds of things. We're going to get TV coverage for the round of 16 at the regional this year for the first time in the history of our sport, which is awesome. And then at the national championships, there's now an off day, because the disadvantage for the team being in the evening session before was that their turnaround was so quick. If they were in the evening session, they had to turn right around, get in bed at midnight, and then have to turn around and compete the next day. This should allow the teams to recover a little more, give them a recovery day to kind of hit the reset button if there's any issues that need to be addressed, and we'll be able to turn things around in a more reasonable time frame, because nowhere else in our sport do you compete 2 days in a row.
Yeah. So this is kind of a chance for some of those gymnasts to recharge, and you just go full throttle because there's no tomorrow, right? That's
right. I mean, from here on out, we've got to make sure we put our best foot forward. The best lineup that we have available will be on the floor, and it's go time. I mean, there is no tomorrow. It comes down to hit and advance, survive and advance, as they say in other sports.
So do you have to beat Missouri, Iowa, and NC State?
We have to be in the top 2 in our session. Whoever's in our.
That's one session.
Yeah.
Michigan, UCLA, Maryland, and the Towson, North Carolina winner is another session.
Correct.
And then the top 2 advance, and the top 2 from there. Advance.
Correct. So we have to be in the top 2 the first day to get to Saturday, and then the top 2 on Saturday in order to advance to Fort Worth to be in the national semifinals.
Do you like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great for the sport. I've called it a meat grinder a lot because it is. I mean, it's a lot tougher. Back in the old days when we had 6 regional sites, it diluted a little bit where you're spreading the top teams out more and chalk usually held. The top seeds usually held. Since we've gone to the tighter regional format where there's only 4 sites and we've gone to 8 teams and a 2-day format, every year that we've had it, there's been a top seed, a 1 or a 2 who's been eliminated at the regional level. It's daunting, it's a much more challenging format than it used to be. But I think it's great for the sport because I think it creates a different level of interest. There's a lot more likelihood of upsets, and you see some more of the Cinderella type stories that you could see in other sports. And I think so from that standpoint, it's created a different level of parity in the postseason, and it's good for the sport.
Y'all compete on the 31st on the Thursday. You get a day off if you advance.
Correct.
Compete on Saturday.
Yeah.
What kind of strategy, if anything, goes into that? Most of the meets you're trying to win, and you want to win, but if you finish second, it's just as good.
Well, I think psychologically it's different, Scott. I think the idea is to win every time we get out there, obviously, but there is. You don't want to be second. I think psychologically it's just better if we can put our best foot forward and everything we do continues to build our confidence and create a little momentum for it. I think momentum this time of the year is so key to the success of any team that expects to make it all the way to the end. And so we've got to capture that momentum when we get out there and try to ride that all the way through.